Hey, it's Monica B, creator of HeyMonicaB.com, a blooming resource on Ayurveda and author of In Your Elements, a blooming Ayurveda guide to creating your best life. Here we are. Today, we're going to talk about Agni, which is our digestive fire. And why do we need to know about our digestive fire? Because a properly functioning digestive fire is responsible for most of the reason why we feel good and how we can avoid getting sick. If our digestive fire doesn't function right, if it's too hot, too low, too variable, it can create imbalance very, very easily. So that's why we're talking about Agni. It is super important. Okay, so let me tell you a story. Allow me to tell you a story about Agni and what it does. So Agni is a little fire. So we're going to go into storyland. Now we're going to think about a story. Agni is a little fire that burns behind our belly button, right? And it rises and sets with the sun. And so when we wake up in the morning, Agni is quite small. It's just kind of waking up like we are. It's got its little outstretched arms and it's yawning and it is getting ready for the day. So when we wake up, we might be a little bit hungry. Some of us might be very hungry depending on our dosha, right? Depending on our own digestion. For breakfast, it's important to have just a little something to eat. If you can think about when a fire is small and you have like a little matchstick, let's say a little fire burning on that matchstick, would you put a log on it? No, the fire would go out. Would you dump a bunch of water on it? No, the fire would go out. So for breakfast, it is best to have a small little breakfast that can kindle Agni. Okay, the goal is to grow Agni. The stronger Agni is by noon, the better we're going to digest our food for the entire day. So let's keep going on our story. Agni is small, it wakes up. It's just getting up with the sun because the sun is fire element. Agni is fire element. So the stronger the sun gets, the higher it gets in the sky, the bigger Agni is going to grow. Building on our principle, like increases like, right? Okay, so a small breakfast, and with that little bit of kindling, Agni gets bigger. Raise your hands. How many of you get hungry by around 10 or 10:30 a.m.? Cool. That's because Agni has finished digesting breakfast and it's asking for more food. It's like, hey, I'm a bigger fire now. I'm ready for more food. And so by 10:30, we might want a little snack. Fruit is a great snack to eat around that time if you're hungry. If you're not hungry, don't eat, okay? So by noon then, we're all hungry for lunch, right? So we've got this nice fire in the sky, which is the sun. It's Pitta time. The doshas rule certain times of day. This is Pitta time, so there's more fire. And Agni is the strongest it's going to be all day. So lunch should be our biggest meal because the fires are all in alignment. We are primed for for digesting perfectly at that time. Okay, so then let's say we have our nice big lunch. Agni says, thank you. This gives me a lot to work on. Okay, and then the day goes on and the afternoon goes. We shouldn't feel too snacky. If we did our job and ate a good enough, big enough lunch, we shouldn't be snacky in the afternoon. We just won't feel hungry because Agni's busy working on transforming all of that food, right? So Agni's job is going to be to transform it. It turns some into nutrients, and from there, it sorts and turns other things into what is waste. So we get down, let's say, to dinner, okay? And so dinner time, where's the sun? The sun's starting to go down, right? So Agni's just worked really hard all day. Agni is starting to go down too. So by the time we have dinner, there's not as much Agni. It's not as strong as it was at noon. So we should have a lighter dinner. And by lighter, I don't necessarily mean, salads or just vegetables or whatever. I just mean something that is like half portion of lunch, a smaller, lighter dinner, nothing too heavy. Okay? Because then Agni can work on digesting that little bit of food, and then we can wake up refreshed and feeling hungry the next day, and we can give more food. Here's where everybody screws up. Here's what I see. Are you ready for the screw up? We do this a lot. I don't judge. I've done it too. Sometimes it still happens. Is we end up skipping through lunch. right? Because we're so busy, we're like in our jobs, or we have meetings, or we're, taking kids places, we've got appointments, we've got errands to run, we do all these things. And we're like, lunch, not that big of a deal. I'll skip it and I'll just have something, even though I'm starving. Yeah, I'll get through it. So either we run out and grab something super fast that's like chintzy and kind of small, or we might just skip right through it, or we might be in a meeting like eating while doing other things. And that is not enough nourishment for Agni to have at that time. Like, it wants food. It wants us to focus on our food, be thankful for our food at lunchtime. So let's continue with the screw up. We've had a chintzy lunch, or we skipped it. Okay. So then let's go around. By 2 or 3, we're hungry. We're snacking. We're looking for cookies. We're looking for chai. We're looking for an extra coffee. We want something because we don't have enough that has been sustained in our body. Because Agni's still like, yeah, burn that off. Need more. Hello. I'm still here. I'm here. I need more food. And then we go to dinner. And what happens around dinner, 4 or 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, sometimes we're starving beyond belief. We're like, I am so hungry. I can't figure out why I'm overeating all the time at dinner. And so we eat a lot of food at dinner because we just haven't had anything all day. Okay? Well, that's why we're eating a lot of food at dinner, because we didn't have anything good for lunchtime. So we skipped it. We went to dinner. Now we have a big dinner. And what does Agni say? Agni says, I'm mad at you. You didn't listen to me all day when I was calling for food. And so now that it's dinner time, you've piled all this work on me, and you're going to expect me to go to sleep in 2 hours. Fine. So Agni has a hard time getting through all that food, and it kind of sits there and the food piles up. Because the little fire is not as strong as it was at noon anymore. Now it's smaller, and it's like, I'm getting ready for bed. Think about this metaphor. If you went to work and you were like, yeah, I'm ready to work all day long. And somebody's like, just do some of these little things. You can go through some emails, and you can maybe, organize 8 books on my shelf, and then, just hang out. But then when you walked in the door at night at 6 o'clock, work knocks on the door. And it's like, hey, here's a whole bunch of stuff you need to do before you go to bed tonight. You'd be like, are you kidding? You had all day to do this. I'm not doing this now. Agni is the same way. It is part of the daily routine, and it's part of the way Agni functions because of the fire in us and the fire in nature. Does that make sense? Yes? Yes. So when we eat too much at night, then the food sits around, and then we wake up. We feel sluggish. We can't get out of bed. We feel weighed down. We might not be hungry for breakfast because Agni's still sitting under the pile of food. And it's like, hey man, I need some time to work all this out before you eat again. And so if our body's not hungry, it could be because Agni's sitting under a lot of extra food and it needs time to catch up, right? We need to fast. We need to skip meals. Drink ginger tea. Ginger is heating and drying, and it stokes Agni, so Agni can get bigger. If you've done something, and there's no judging around this either, because sometimes we just go down, we might have dinners later at night, like a celebratory dinner or something like that. We don't have dinner till 8. We do eat a late dinner. If that happens to you, that's fine. Don't judge yourself as long as your routine is basically in check. Not a big deal if these things happen once in a while. But in the morning, then you're going to skip breakfast, fast, and just drink ginger tea to help Agni get through all of that food from the night before. Yeah? That is a basic story of Agni. And if I can give you takeaways for this, make lunch your biggest meal. Do not skip it. Do not chintz on it. Don't run and get an itty bitty little salad or quinoa schnitzel bowl, whatever that's like this big. You need more fuel around anywhere between 11:30 and 1 o'clock. Okay. And then you should not feel as hungry for dinner, and make dinner, same types of foods, fine, just have a lesser quantity. Yeah. So those are your takeaways. Let's honor Agni. Agni is also our guide. Agni says, hey, I'm hungry when we feel hunger. If we don't feel hunger, we should not be eating, so long as we're in the right routine. Okay? Because we need to be in touch with this body, right? Our ego, our mind, our spirit, our body, they all work together. Ego is part of the mind, by the way, but they all work together, and we need to listen to our body and respect it, just as it is trying to do the best for us to help us create and live our best life. So takeaways: big lunch, smaller dinner. breakfast if you're hungry, and breakfast should also be small. And with that knowledge, go ahead, go forward, and keep bringing this Ayurveda to life. Yay!